All right. Welcome to, we're going to call it, is it the 23rd True to the Core? Should I say that? Because we have 23 Dreamforces. I feel like I've been with you every Dreamforce. But where are the costumes? Like, it's kind of a weak showing. I was looking for a little bit more spice here today. Oh, we got some. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well done. Good sparkles there. Bring your A game. Well, you guys know what we're doing. We love the energy you bring and the accountability you bring to us to make sure that we stay on point and that Steve Fisher listens to you and does all of the product recommendations that you have, because he runs all product strategy. Welcome, Steve Fisher. Yeah. Actually, let's go forward because I don't have a clicker. Let's go to this slide and let's welcome everyone. So, Steve Fisher, why don't you introduce yourself? We'll walk down the line. Everyone can say hello.
Sure. Well, it's exciting. I think my last True to the Core session was probably 15, 16 years ago.
You prefer to be in the audience, admit it, and tell us what you want versus be up here and be accountable.
That's still what I do. And so I've been, this is my second time at Salesforce. I was at Salesforce from 2004 to 2014. I think really sort of led the creation of the platform for 4 years, and then I ran engineering for 6 years. And then after 10 years, I decided I was going to go. I made a mistake and went elsewhere. So I was a CTO at eBay for 5 years, and then I theoretically retired in 2019. But a couple of years later, Mark called me up, and here I am back for almost 4 years now.
But I think you learned a lot at places like eBay and brought it back here. So
it was I think it all worked out for the best.
Thank you for coming back. Meredith.
I'm also a boomerang. I was at Salesforce from 2013 to 2022, and I just came back about 6 months ago to look after Trailhead in the community. So excited, a lot of community folks here today, and excited to be back.
Yeah, that was really awesome because we really want to reinvest in the community. I felt like we had a little hiccup there maybe in terms of how we took care of all the communities, because it's not just one. So it's great to have you.
Thanks, Parker. My name is Jayesh. First True to the Core session, so very excited about this.
You look nervous.
I am a little I am a little nervous. So I've been with Salesforce for 10 years now, first-time core member as well. Been leading AI here at Salesforce and privileged to be working on engineering for Agentforce.
Awesome. And the man who's going to answer every single question.
Hi, friends. My name's Kush. I'm a PM on the platform team, and I think I crossed my 10-year mark this year. So.
Awesome. That means he's part of COA Club at Salesforce when you're at the 10-year mark. It's pretty awesome.
And I'm Liz Trudeau, representing the Experience Org, and I've been here about 4 years, and this is my second True to the Core.
Awesome, and we're working on being design first, right, Liz? All right. Well, I have no questions here. Weird. I guess you guys don't have any questions? Do we have a lineup for questions? Oh, no, we're going through the slides first. Oh, we got to do slides? Who's doing the slides?
Well, I'm going to talk to a couple slides.
You didn't tell me you're doing slides.
Well, I was just told to do a
Shows how
couple
much
slides.
we just came from the investor group, and they're very excited. So
Yes. So obviously, you've been at the event. You saw the big keynote. I'm sure you've been to lots of sessions. And just to try and sum up, I think, what we've been trying to do really the last few years. As I mentioned, our core platform is extremely near and dear to my heart. That's what I really sunk my teeth into the first 4 years I was here. But one of the things that I kind of saw being at eBay, as Parker mentioned, what was sort of working for us there, which was when we brought together all the data about our buyers and sellers together, which is pretty big scale. And then when we would layer on, at the time, predictive AI on top of that, and that allowed us to try and deliver the most relevant, personalized experiences to each and every one of our buyers and sellers across every touch point, whether that was the 100 million emails we sent a day, or the billions of dollars of advertising that we did, or the web experience, or the mobile experience, or the contact center, the call center experience, whatever it was, that kind of was working. And I was just reflecting the reason I came back was I was reflecting when I retired on my 10 years at Salesforce, building our core platform, Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, kind of before the large number of acquisitions really started to kick in. That was obviously CRM, but we were building at eBay was also kind of CRM, but it was a very bespoke CRM, and it was kind of a different CRM. And the reason I fundamentally came back was it seemed like in the new world, this was back in 2021, massive data, the power of predictive AI, the power of automation, analytics, every possible channel, being able to put the customer at the center, that's really what Salesforce was meant to do. And in the interim, we've done a lot of acquisitions. And so we had amazing acquisitions, amazing technology, amazing teams, great customer relationships, but a disconnected experience, a disconnected platform. And so what we have been working on really for the last 4 years is, okay, we need to take as the core of what we have, that core platform, the metadata and all the tools, Flow and everything that we built on top of that, the deep integration with all the applications, but we need to expand that and allow it to support all the customer touch points, all the customer data. And so that's why for us, things like Data Cloud or Data 360, the most important thing that we did is deeply integrate it into the platform, which really required us to reinvent the whole metadata layer to 2 orders of magnitude more scale. It was a very heavy lift. Reinvent kind of all of those core platform tools. We didn't want to build something separate. We wanted to build something that took the existing platform and made it much better. So Flow works with Data Cloud natively. All the page layouts, all the detail pages, all the things that we, reports and dashboards, all the core capabilities that all of you, know and have given us feedback on, now with expanded data, predictive AI, but then obviously Gen AI hit and ChatGPT hit, and we all had our ChatGPT moment in late 2022, and that required us to reinvent again. But rather than build a separate platform for agents and a separate platform for data, and a separate platform for all of this, instead, no, we're gonna reimagine, dramatically expand that core platform with metadata at the core and all the core capabilities at the core of it, with Sales Cloud reimagined, with Service Cloud reimagined, but also with Commerce Cloud and Marketing Cloud and Tableau and MuleSoft and Slack, all reimagined to be able to create just a much bigger, more powerful, more capable platform with agentic capabilities at the core. And you've seen over the last year, Agentforce, Agentforce 2, Agentforce 2DX, Agentforce 3, and now I think what we're releasing at Dreamforce this year, by far the most important capabilities we've ever released, probably as a company, because we've spent so much time with most of you, I think, in the trenches trying to figure out what are these LLMs really good for when it comes to business, and where do they fall short when it comes to business, and we need to bring that all together as part of that unified platform. And so all of that really is what Agentforce 360 is all about, that deeply unified platform as best we can, layer of data, AI, predictive, and mostly agentic, reimagining Tableau as a semantic layer to give meaning to the data, the visualization layer, automation with Flow and integrating Flow with MuleSoft and bringing all that to the agents, all the data to the agents, unstructured data, data governance, and then all of our applications on one platform. We think that is kind of what our mission really as a company has been, and we're pretty excited about where we are today.
Is that all?
That's it. That's all I got. That's all I got, Parker.
Pretty awesome.
And just one more slide. And we've also really worked hard. Look, sometimes you can be like a demanding audience, and we really appreciate that. I was taught by Jacob, who works with Mark and does all the keynotes. Feedback is a gift, and sometimes you gotta work your way into accepting that. But once you get to that point where you welcome and treat feedback as a gift, that's how you actually get a lot better. And so we continue. Hopefully, we're reinvesting in the community. Some of the things that we've done the last year, giving more insights, the monthly meetings, bringing Slack onto Idea Exchange, sharing our roadmaps much more broadly. These are just manifestations of what really matters is the engagement and the dialogue and keeping us honest and putting our feet to the fire when it needs to be done. And it really, we could just not be the company that we are without the unbelievably deeply engaged community that all of you represent. So we just are so grateful for all that feedback.
All right, but I think we've delivered on some feedback, haven't we?
Yeah, we do. So let's dive right in. We've got a few exciting updates.
I want to try to soften you up by saying we did do some stuff for you.
There you go. We did.
Please, Kush,
we
go
did.
ahead.
All right. So let's go to the next one. So if you haven't heard already, we've brought Agentforce into setup. We appreciate your patience, but again, this is an example where we're bringing Agentforce to help address a number of your long-standing requests. Requests like, hey, look, show me a list of users with a particular permission, show me all users which are frozen, help me troubleshoot permissions, etc. Right? So it's in pilot right now, and just in pilot itself, we believe that we'll knock out about close to 120,000 IDX points, and in the next few weeks and months, as we go to beta and GA, we will also address a number of your long-standing requests along the way. But clearly, really appreciate the partnership. Shout out to Andrew Russo. I know he's been a strong proponent for this as well, and all of the feedback that you have provided. Next. Lists and records continue to get some love. On the list side of things, we address some of your long-standing requests around multi-sort across related lists, related list. We brought dynamic related list over to mobile. Record pages have gotten, record pages and object home, record home and object home have both gotten more than 30% faster as well. So again, closing out a good number of points there as well. Next. If you haven't heard already, Agentforce Vibes. So go for it. Again, the ability to use natural language to build out your app, build out your LWCs, your Apex, and so much more. But there's more than just Agentforce Vibes that the team has delivered. One of your biggest long-standing asks has been around state management. So LWC state management, no longer do you have to do prop drilling. So we have this out of the box as available. This is your top ask, by the way. Lightning out, this has probably been the one beta that's probably given Gmail a run for its money, but it is now generally available. And so lots of good progress on this front as well. Next. Scale Center is now generally available across all editions, bringing a ton of insights. Whether those insights pertain to Lightning performance, scale, SOQL, bunch of different insights, and then obviously Apex Guru is built in, giving you all the recommendations. And as you can see, we've had quite a few Apex recommendations already being implemented. Next. And finally, on this side, ALM, our application lifecycle management side of things, we continue to improve it. We've expanded the testing providers. So you've got agent testing, you've got flow testing, Apex unit tests also available. We've also improved the DX inspector. So again, this is the one in your sandboxes. There's a little bar at the top which shows you all of the metadata changes that you're making. You have the ability to track them. You have the ability to now push them directly from the DX inspector into your DevOps as well. And we have a few items also in beta and dev previews. We're bringing DevOps Center to core, so no longer do you need a managed package. We also have a set of MCPs that allow you to sort of agentify and sort of use your, go through the application lifecycle management via invoking these MCPs. So good progress on this front. Next.
Awesome.
Yeah,
well, as Steve said, feedback is a gift. And we now have 28 global leaders who are part of our community advisory board who are giving us lots of feedback. And so really excited. We have them serving an 18-month term. Some of them are here in the room today. We have subcommittees that are focused on different areas of feedback. We've done a sentiment survey, and we're taking action on a lot of the things that came up here at True to the Core last year. Hopefully you're seeing some of them in your experience here at Dreamforce. We've also rebooted the Salesforce architecture program. So if you're curious about what we're doing there, please check out the Architect Vista to hear more about what we're doing with the Salesforce architecture program. And we've rebooted the Salesforce military program. So we have free certifications happening for for 86,000 members of the Salesforce military. So really excited to see that program get off the ground. And Trailhead, the other part of my world, is true to the core, we know Steve loves Trailhead. He has almost 1 million points on Trailhead.
180,000 points.
Yeah, so we're going to have to do a big celebration for Steve. And of the new badges that we've built this year, over 270% of them are for our core products and industries. So really looking at how we can continue to skill, reskill, upskill with our core products as well.
Another thing I'd say is we're using it really heavily internally now. So and Steve's actually pushed this really hard. Everybody in Salesforce needs to learn Agentforce. So everything you're learning, we're really trying to learn as well and make sure our employees do the same. And then if we don't like the trails or we think they need to be better, which we do provide our own feedback.
We do get a lot of feedback.
You get the benefit
of
that. But just know that this learning system is something super valuable for Salesforce as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We have over 13 million badges that were earned this year, and over 3 million are hands-on. We know you love getting hands-on and getting into the org, so we're really trying to push more of that content into the Trailhead experience. And we just launched streaks, so we know Steve's going to keep up his streak, but who else in the room is going to keep up their weekly streak? That's something that we've had live for a couple of weeks.
I have private streaks. Steve doesn't know about it, but...
Okay. So we have over 100,000 learners that have already earned a streak. So I'm excited to see what that number looks like next year. And of course, our new skills. So over 9 million Trailblazers skilled up on Trailhead, and over 200,000 people who've earned Agent Blazer champions. So new content has dropped this quarter as well.
Awesome. Well, I am pleased to announce that SLDS 2 is now GA. And it is live for all major editions and major clouds. And this is a huge upgrade for our design system and really an unlock for consumer-grade experiences. If you haven't seen it, please visit us at Camp Design in Trailhead Forest. And what you get with this is not just a new theme, but you get increased branding and theming options for your whole organization, UI flexibility, accessibility preferences. It is a major improvement. And there's one feature that I'm really excited to share with you. And with that, I need the help of Cassie Yu, who is an admin at Aristotle. Welcome, Cassie. Cassie has had a question for us almost every True to the Core. And we're going to ask you one more time. Can you ask that question?
So when are we going to have dark mode?
Thank you for asking, Cassie. I am pleased to say that dark mode is finally here. It is beta. It is live in starter orgs, and it is coming soon to Sales Cloud and Service Cloud. And this is a major win for accessibility and also for users across the globe who prefer this. Thank you, Cassie, for advocating for this and speaking on behalf of your users and for the entire community.
And since I've been spending a lot of time in Slack, I'm looking forward to aubergine mode as well.
Yes. Well, that is possible with the theming and branding options, should that be your preference.
All right, let's roll. Let's get the questions going. We have mics here. Just one mic? Oh, we're skimping it down this year. Only one mic for you guys. All right, fire away.
Okay. So I'm Tom Bassett, Senior Solutions Architect from London. And I've been a little bit creative with my question, so bear with me. Where is the trust? Where is the care? The Trailblazers show up, but is Salesforce there? Data exposed, Agentforce security flawed. We're holding the line while you're missing the calls. Where is the trust? Where is the truth? We built this Ohana. We're standing with you. We give our time, our hearts, our drive, yet we're treated like marketers, keeping the dream alive. Where is the trust? Where is the proof? Funding is gone while programs stay aloof. We rise together, we shine, we fight. As Trailblazers, we demand what's right.
I guess I'll give that to Meredith. I'm not sure where to take that. That was like right there.
No, that was a really fair question. I think that's a lot of what we're doing with our community advisory board. And there are folks in this room who are part of those subcommittees or helping to shape that. So one of the things that we're looking at, we have a lot of our executives who go out to these streaming events, to our community events. I know, Jim Roth, you were in Austin with us recently. We're going to get more of our executives on the road, and we're going to bring them to the community events so they can hear your feedback firsthand. So it is a big, we have our community sentiment survey launching in November, so keep giving us that feedback. We are making changes and we hear you.
What did we stop funding?
The certification days, for example. There are other examples, but yeah, CGL swag. Yeah.
Well, we can solve all of this, you know, and I think some of it is we just lost our focus. I'm sorry, you know, and we didn't have a leader like Meredith. No offense to her, I forget who was running it before. That was a little harsh.
Leah did an amazing job. I mean, she helped us get the community advisory board off the ground. She was really instrumental.
Leah. No, but. All right, I'm sorry. I don't think we had a focus on it as a company. And Leah, you can hit me later or give me the feedback of what was stopping you. I think because I'm sure that there are many forces that we just lost our way. I don't know why we keep losing our way. Maybe that's why we're going to eternally. This is like a dream. I'm eternally stuck on this stage. I'm having you give us feedback. Yeah. Leah, why don't you challenge what I said? Because now. Come on. Lay it on me, girl.
I was just going to be a participant.
Pick up what I'm putting down.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely going to pick up what you're putting down because it's wrong. Okay, so let's be very clear. As a company, there were things where we did have to make budget cuts. And yes, swag was one of them. And we did bring it to the community. And I did a ruthless prioritization exercise around what is more important, you know, certification, swag, this or that. And a lot of times you have the teams, you have our amazing Trailblazer community team who is advocating really hard inside these walls and saying, this is what's important for the community, we must do this. So there has been budget cuts, absolutely. And we've had to ruthlessly prioritize on certain things, but yet we did reinvest in things like relaunching the military program, which was really important, relaunching the architect program. And all of these things take funds, it takes headcount. So when you see headcount coming in those places, that is money, that is investment. It may not be in the investment that you want around a plushie, but it's an investment in a program that's serving a wider community. So there have been shifts, but things have been happening. We haven't lost our way. We're finding it. It may not just be in the way that is always what people see, but it is definitely in the way that's going to serve a wider community.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leah.
Thank you.
I really don't know how I'm supposed to follow that. I do not have anything in iambic pentameter or anything like that for you, but that was awesome. So my question may have already been addressed, and it might be part of LDS too, I don't know. But we have all this wonderful data, and we've been given all these incredible tools how to manipulate it, to share it, to show it. But in dashboards, we're beholden to the 14 different color palettes that are part of that reports give us. Why can't we have custom colors to brand our dashboards?
That is a completely legitimate question. I am actually going to turn that to our design systems team. Adam Doty, do you want to take that?
So two things. One thing is on the roadmap. We have the next generation theming and branding we'll be rolling out in a release or two. But for data visualization, we are investigating that actively right now. I just don't have a release date for that. But make sure that's on the ID Exchange so we can track it. We are actively looking at that, especially for data visualizations and dashboards and reports and all that kind of stuff. So it's related to the theming and branding roadmap, but it's separate. And so let's talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi there. I'm Alon. I've been here before. I appreciate that you listen to our feedback, and that's why I work so hard to give you heartfelt feedback, because I really care about making some changes. I'm going to try super hard not to go on for a long time. AI is incredible. We've all used it to some extent. We've seen the amazing things that it does. I used Agent Vibe last week, and it blew me away when I had a 10-minute, put together a 10-minute prompt. It did amazing things. And then I kept trying to tweak stuff, and it did a couple of things, and then it stopped working. And then it told me that LWC can't do this thing, and I was like, hold my beer, because in 5 minutes I did it, after spending 2 hours trying to get it to do stuff that it just failed and fell on its face over and over. But hey, maybe I'm just a bad prompt builder. Last night, I was working on a challenge that you give us so I could win a prize downstairs. And part of it involves talking to an agent that you all built. And it's like, you know what? I can't really figure that out or help you, so why don't I get a staffer to help you? What table are you at? And I'm like, listen, I'm in my hotel room on my own computer. Over and over and over, why don't I get you a staffer to help you with that? The point I'm trying to make is that AI is not a solution for everything, but for the last 2 years, you all, Mark, everybody has been pushing AI and Agentforce as the solution for goddamn everything. And the truth is that I can build interfaces, we all can build interfaces for our customers that are better for them, smoother for them, quicker, and less expensive for us to run than if we put an agent in front of them. And one example that you all saw is people complained about taking the search bar off your help center. I think you've reversed that, or at least said you're going to reverse it. So that's cool. I appreciate that you listened. But I come to Dreamforce to learn some stuff. I come to TDX to learn some stuff. And for 2 years, I've heard nothing but Agentforce. And honestly, I'm not seeing the value in Dreamforce that I used to see, and I really want to keep coming back. And if you respect me and the rest of the audience, I hope. Thank you. What I was going to say is that I hope you keep building the incredible tools that you've built with Agentforce, and you keep pushing the entire concept of AI solutions forward, because you've done a truly amazing job. But I know you're doing other things. I want to know more about Flow Builder. I want to know about App Builder. I want to know about SLDS2, reports, dashboard improvements, sales, service. There's so much that you do that we use every day. And I would love to learn about it, but I can't because you won't talk about it, because it seems like Agentforce is the only thing you want us to know about. Sounds like they agree.
I'll jump into that one, because I jumped into the last one. That went so well. Anyway. These shows are a lot about, we need to talk about the future and where we're going and the big things that we're doing. We have a lot of things we could talk about, but there's limited time and space. But it's good feedback. Maybe we need to create some space for some of these things. Some of it's incremental. Like what you're looking for is incremental. It's all good stuff, but it's incremental, and we need to do it. And that's really what we're talking about in this room. That's why we create this space. I think TDX is another place where we need to do more around the platform and admin. But we'll look at it. But it's not going to stop us. We're still going to have Dreamforce be, this is the future, this is where we're going, AI, blah, 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 data, Slack.
Absolutely. Just make room for all of it. That's all we're wanting.
It's hard to make room for all of it, but we'll take that into account. And maybe there's spaces that we don't have, that maybe this is an easy solve, and we just need to create those spaces where you can find that. We still have a merit.
So I think there's an element, Parker, of what we can do with our community events too. We can go out to the community, right? We can bring our.
We want you to come to Dreamforce. I was trying to answer. I don't want you to stop coming to Dreamforce. Okay, we
have 30% more of our sessions are by the community, for the community. So this year we have a bigger space. So you will see that in Agenda Builder. You can go and you can see, and the numbers are there in terms of Dreamforce right now. But I do think there's an element of going out and evangelizing and bringing our makers, our product and engineering teams to the community, right? And having those conversations. So that's something that I want to get going with my team and all of the product folks here and getting them out and having those conversations. So you should look forward to that happening. And I think at TDX, we have an opportunity to take that feedback and bring it in.
I
appreciate your feedback. Right, a lot of the teams that I work with, they work on a lot of the things that you mentioned. This year, actually, we've had, in full fairness, we've had a few more sessions than before. We will take your feedback. We will improve. On the subject of vibes, please catch up. I'd love to catch up with you and understand where you ran into, and then we'll go from there.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I have a slightly different take on it maybe, because I think, yes, to everything that was said, but I think the last couple of years, I think, have been, at least we believe strongly, that the Gen AI and LLMs represent a fundamental shift, as big or bigger than the cloud shift. And we have significantly invested in those areas, and that has to come from somewhere. And we put about half of our investment into what we call trust, security, availability, all that. We can't sacrifice that. Even then, with that significant investment, that's a challenge. But I believe that the next generation of setup, we've been having, setup is a challenge to navigate, as you all know better than anybody. And for 20 years, we have punted on, we need to re-architect setup. But now we believe that it's going to take a little time, because these AI things, they don't always exactly work the way that you think they're going to work. That's the lesson that we've been learning and relearning, especially the last year. But we think that that is a completely new way of how do you configure and be creative and get our platform to do what you want it to do and integrate with other platforms and create the next set of flows and the next set of code and the next set of agents. And that is Agentforce Vibes, which was GA, a week ago? I'm sure it's got a long way to go. But we think that that and agentic setup and all the other things that we're doing are the right path forward. And that, we may be wrong on that, I don't know. But I think if we hadn't put, and that's when there's a disruption like this, Salesforce was born out of a disruption, which was cloud. And a lot of other companies that were much, much bigger were, the giants in the industry, they got hit by the innovator's dilemma. They did not jump on it. And, they're not doing so well these days. And we don't want that to happen to us, and we don't want that to happen to you. And for me, I was thinking about this question, which I was expecting, and maybe this won't resonate, but I think of the word trailblazer, and trailblazers are blazing the trail, going where people haven't been before. And at least in my view, and I think we all have conviction on this, that AI represents that. And we're on this journey, and it is not easy. And did we get it a year ago when we launched Agentforce? It was, I think, probably as good as anything out there in the industry, but it had a lot of issues, which we learned over the last year about all the, you couldn't do testing, you couldn't do observability, you couldn't do traceability. And the big lesson we learned was you could prompt as much as you want, and the AI was still not going to do what you wanted every single time. So we needed to add agent script and determinism. And that is taking a lot of our energy and a lot of our investment, and the same thing around data, especially unstructured data. It turns out that just creating and embedding and putting in a vector database is not good enough. And so there's no question. Now, at some point, will that surge on investment start to normalize, and that will just become the new normal, and Salesforce is agentic, and the way you engage with Salesforce is agentic, and the agents are working better, and the security issues are in the past. We're working as hard as we can to get to that day. But I think if we hadn't done that surge, I think we would just be kind of, the companies that we left behind, and we don't want that to happen. And we feel, I guess I feel, that that's part of our responsibility, not only to our customers and to our investors and everybody else, but all of you who have kind of bet your careers on us being at the forefront and blazing that trail with you. And so I think it's not just what did we talk about at the show? I think it is somewhat reflective, maybe not 100%, but somewhat reflective of where we have been investing, because we are determined to be relevant for the next 25 years like we've been for the last 25 years. And there's just no question that data, and especially AI, is going to be at the forefront of that. And I think you acknowledge that. Absolutely. But so it's partly you're reflecting on the event, but you're also reflecting on the reality of where we've been investing, because this is not easy. Reinventing our platform, taking that to the next level, reinventing our applications for the future, reinventing how we think about data, reinventing our core tools, things like Agentforce Vibes. We're all kind of this. I think this really, at least for me, it speaks to what it means to really be a trailblazer. and and it's uncomfortable. You're not going to get it right the first time. And we super value all the feedback that we get from all of you and from all of our customers, as hopefully we're going to be able to collectively, through that feedback loop, get there faster than anybody else, in a better place than anybody else, in a stronger place. And we want all of you to help lead us in that direction and have that feedback. And does that mean we're going to make some bumps along the way? Probably more than maybe we did in the in the lead up in a pre-agentic world, when we were more in the performance zone, and now we're kind of in the transformation zone. And so it's difficult and uncomfortable, but also I hope that kind of it's a little bit energizing also, because we don't exactly know what the future is going to be, but we're going to create that together. And that's what we've been spending our time on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, all. So I think it's important to criticize. I think it's also important to praise when things are done right. So I came up here at TDX and I asked you to fund community. I asked why there wasn't a golden hoodie, and you answered and you responded. And I want to say thank you for the things that you have done, because I know Sasha Taylor's team has been very busy giving out more golden hoodies at this event, and it's been visible, and I think that's important. I also want to say, I think, Parker, you said maybe we've lost our way around community.
And maybe I was wrong. I think that was proven.
And I don't necessarily know that you've lost your way, but I think you may have lost a little bit of touch. And I think that's because there's so many people who come into the company who have never experienced the community. And how can you understand something that you've never experienced? So I have an ask, and Meredith, you've alluded to this to a point, and thank you for that, but I think it doesn't go far enough. I would like to challenge you to put in your 2026 fiscal year, or 27, whatever's coming up, V2 Mom, that every employee goes to 2 community events a year, whether virtual or in person. Because if they don't understand it, how can they support it? How can they evangelize it? And how can they truly internalize what community has meant to this company and to all of us? And I would also like to challenge you to send your executive team to 1 community dream and event around the world each year.
Thank you.
Michelle knows that she has my support, so hopefully Parker and Steve, we have your support too.
I think it's an excellent point, and as Meredith talked about, I've been heavily evangelizing Trailhead within the company, because technology is changing so fast that all of you are kind of probably ahead of where most of our own employees are. But I think maybe I really resonate with what you just said, and it would be very empowering for all of us to do that. So I think I'll go and we'll talk about what you said is really going to stick with me. And when our next senior leadership team meeting, we're going to talk about that, and we'll see if we can make that happen.
Thank you.
Hi, I was at the microphone last year, and that was a comment about customer support. I am a third-party Salesforce consultant, so I run a business where I help your customers and clients and mine love Salesforce as much as we all do. And support was not showing love to a nonprofit client that I had, spoiler alert. I did get a great response from customer support, got people involved because I spoke at the mic, and after another 6 or 7 weeks, got the issue resolved. So that was the good news. I'm at the mic this year because I want to talk about the issue that started the whole thing, and that is, I think, a very simple thing, and it has to do with Experience Cloud and login licenses, and the way the count is calculated. So I'm not great at math. I'm going to make it super easy. It's a 1-to-20 ratio. So if I have a community established, an Experience Cloud experience set up, and I think 100 people are going to log in once and never again, then I buy the login licenses, 100 a month, and that gives me, in the background, 20,000 licenses, 120, 20, yeah. So when I reach the capacity of community licenses, then nobody new gets a license and nobody can log in. So I was working with a small nonprofit. They had 650 licenses a month. They hit the 13,000. No more people could log in. Their business was basically halted. They are a small nonprofit. I immediately opened a case and I said, how do we get 13,000 to be a bigger number? Because nobody can log in. And because they weren't paying for the highest level of support, nobody answered for 3 days. So I was going in and manually deleting community licenses where people hadn't logged in 2 or 3 years. But the bottom line is, with the 20 times ratio, in less than 2 years, if I truly had 100 new people log in every month and they never logged in again, my licenses would be consumed in less than 2 years. And the answer that kept coming back from Salesforce was, you have to buy more licenses. And I kept saying, but we're not using more than 650 license logins a month. We're paying for login licenses. They are not supposed to be calculated at a limit. Can't you just raise the limit? We can't raise the limit unless you pay for more licenses. That's changed your contract. But we're not exceeding the 650. So I hope that made sense. Somebody's nodding. So I just want to know why it can't be easier, that it has to be a change to a contract and somebody has to pay more money, or an admin like me has to go in the background and manually delete or deactivate a bunch of licenses so that a business doesn't come to a screeching halt.
No, I appreciate this feedback. As trust, we should not be halting one's business. I'd love to follow up with you. We will double click into this and get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think historically we're just all focused on licenses and named licenses. And we've added a ton that's more thinking of usage. And we should just look at this totally differently. Because that's essentially what you're asking. You're saying, just have more of a usage-based model. And maybe, okay, fine, there's overages, and okay, we won't charge if it's over X, I think we can rethink the feature in a very different way so that you don't even have to do any of that math like you did, because I kind of half followed it. And just make it just a simpler model. And we're trying to simplify our pricing across the board. It just sounds like this area is a little antiquated.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jeremiah Doan, and I'm a technical...
But by the way, sorry to interrupt you, we're going to go till 5:15, so we've got extra time.
My name is Jeremiah Doan, and I'm a technical architect at Block. My question may seem slightly hyper-specific, but it applies to a broader concept that I have a question about. So for me, speeding up the ability for developers to get environments quickly allows for them to quickly solve bugs, reduce issues with product usability, and ultimately deliver faster on the platform. We are exploring the usage of scratchworks. However, in the exploration, we found that we cannot use org shape. By way of this also means that we have to enumerate every feature that we need enabled for scratch orgs, as well as scripts to sanitize metadata and deploy data to scratch org environments to make it meaningful for developers. This is obviously very cumbersome and time-consuming on the initial setup. So my question to Salesforce in this audience is, one, what is Salesforce doing in terms of making the usage of scratch orgs easier? But broader speaking, what is Salesforce doing to make the developer experience and release cycles more efficient so that we can deliver better product to our customers, internal and external?
Vivek, do you want to? Yeah, go for it. Dilip.
Thank you for your feedback. I'm the product manager for ScratchArcs, and I would love to connect with you because the whole purpose of ScratchArc Shape is to enable you to not have to explicitly specify each of the feature. So if it's not working in your case, I would love to connect with you and find out what could be going on. Because the fundamental reason why we have Shape is to solve these kinds of use cases.
And then to the broader question about what are we doing about developer experiences and making it easier for us to deliver product to our customers and speed up release cycles?
So in terms of ScratchArcs, one of the things that we shipped last year is the concept of ScratchArcs snapshots that enables you to spin up ScratchArcs with a lot of packages and metadata much faster. So we have intensely worked over the last couple of years to improve performance of any long-running operations, be it packaging, be it spinning up the ScratchArc and all those things. So I would love to hear what specific challenges you're having, but in general, we have and we continue to invest in making the developer experience and the developer productivity much better on our platform by looking at each operation and seeing how we can fine-tune and improve both the performance as well as the reliability.
Awesome. Thank you.
So, since this is true to the core, I think security fits in the whole concept of the core platform. And there's been some things like connected apps that have some security concerns and areas for improvement. One of those is that if you have a connected app with, say, a third-party app that's going to work in the user context, there's no way to actually lock down that app to say you can't access this special object or these fields, even though we want the user in Salesforce to have access to those. There's no way to say, oh, well, that connected app can't touch those. So you can't actually have like the principle of least privilege with a connected app with a third-party integration. That's part one. Part two is Salesforce has trust as its #1 core value. However, there are paid extra add-ons like Security Center, Event Monitoring, Transaction Security Policies, and multiple other ones that are all paid add-ons. So is Salesforce having some issues with alignment between having profit versus trust with the paid add-ons to allow us as customers to have trust? I understand that there's large orgs that might not need the features. So like maybe field history tracking that's in Shield isn't needed for everyone, that stays paid. But things like Security Center should be included, I think, for customers so we can have a trusted, safe experience.
So for point one, Cheryl did mention that you had this feedback, so I appreciate it. We'll definitely look into it. I think it's a good point for us to consider. Point two, do we have Marla? There you go. Yeah.
Hi. All right. Hi. It's a good question. It's very valid, and I'm glad that you asked it. So first of all, I want to say that in terms of like trust versus profit, we spend a lot of time and effort and money on security that comes out of the box. It is absolutely our #1 value. Things that are table stakes that should be required, that need to be there, are there out of the box. We have a phenomenal security team. We have a cybersecurity team that is working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, not the reverse of that, and doing things like advanced monitoring and protections, things that you're not going to see, but that you will hear about if they're catching something that is like that's relevant to your work. So that's thing one. That is like inherent in the platform. It is a very secure platform. Two is in terms of like how do we decide if a thing is paid or free? It is partially like, hey, these are not things everybody needs. The things that are paid add-ons are advanced protections that are not going to be something that every single customer of Salesforce is looking for. And if we do think things fall into that camp, we do make them free. And so things like, and they're from the same team. So you mentioned Security Center. The Security Center team also does security health check. Like that is where when we're like, we should have that, but we shouldn't make it paid. We're sending it to security health check. So that same team is actually super heavily invested right now in a bunch of updates to security health check. More metrics, more data. We're making it proactive, so it just runs in the background instead of you showing up and clicking a button and then figuring out your health score. And we're making it so that you can subscribe to it. So if your score changes, you can go figure out why, and then we're gonna give you remediations on how to correct it. So that whole set of features, which is akin to, it's like the free version of what would be paid in Security Center, is getting some serious investment right now, and you're going to see a lot of new things coming out in the next release. Same with event monitoring. When things are in event monitoring, event monitoring team also supports all of the free security events, and they're just not called event monitoring. They just go to the platform. So things like login anomalies, like login events. are all just like are out there on the platform. And maybe you should be like tying them more closer together so you can tell the difference really between what, hey, this is the same capability, but this is the free version, this is the version that we think not every customer is going to need or want to pay for overall in the platform as just like platform-wide tax. But that's sort of like, that's how we make that determination and how it works right now.
So does that mean we can have Security Center included?
Some of those features that should be free are going to be in Security Health Check. But why don't we talk afterwards? I would like to hear what pieces of it you're like, these things specifically. Because Security Center sounds like, yeah, that's a good idea. That sounds like security. It should be free. But really what we're looking at is like thing by thing. Where should this go? Is this free? Is this paid? What's the cost to serve? Which customers are using it? And not every customer wants those capabilities. The things that we make free and available on the platform are the things that are coming from that same team, but they're going into a different place.
Thank you.
Hey, y'all. I appreciate the opportunity to have a career on this platform, and I created that career on this platform because you all created a space for a lot of people, and back in the day, you spoke out and did some justice work for what happened in Indiana. My first Dreamforce, I packed safe needle kits for a nonprofit here in San Francisco, and it's one of my favorite things. I don't actually think that that's a nonprofit I'm gonna found my identity to, but the fact that you cared about the global community and served the global community, it feels like Salesforce is stepping back from that. And I would love to know or see how you can continue investing in your local community and global community in a way that brings more people along than leaving people behind.
You want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So I can tell you one of the things that we're doing in our global workforce development team. So we're working with agencies all around the world. We have a team in India, in Europe, in the US, and we're finding these organizations and we're finding underrepresented students in the world, and we're training them up on the Salesforce platform. So that is a motion that we have within our community teams. Through our philanthropy teams as well, we have some grants that we've announced this week. I will be asking for more of those types of supports and partnerships that we can do, because I do feel like it is our responsibility to reskill, upskill, prepare the global workforce for where we're going. And I think that's something that we're going to continue to double down on. And you're going to see more of those investments as we go into next year.
Sweet, thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Chris Pfeiffer. I'm a senior architect with Attain Partners. We work primarily in nonprofit higher ed space. This is an issue that came up at True to the Core last year. Was just having a conversation with a client about permission set licenses and the integration user. And I had to explain to them, you have to actually use an extra license, a normal login license. You can't assign a permission set license to an integration user. And so you've got critical objects in nonprofit cloud you cannot write to with the integration user. You have to use a full license. It does make sense. Seems like it would be really easy to fix. The second thing I wanted to flag, and this maybe I'm actually going to ask for more agents. Maybe the only one here. I'm looking at all the different sessions I've seen while I'm here. The Agentforce for setup is the thing that I look at and I say, that's going to change the life of everybody in this room. What can we do to get it faster, get more of the features, get broader coverage across all of setup? Because that's the thing that you're going to get an advocate inside every single org saying, look at this is really cool. This just saved me a day's time. And we should go look at Agentforce for the rest of our work.
It's a good question. Thank you. I'll start with the second one first. So in our first rev, we're focused on 40% of the traffic. It's about a handful, 50 to 60 use cases. For each one of them, we've actually handcrafted actions for each one of them. But the reality is that setup is so democratic. It's got like thousands of use cases. So how do we scale? So that long tail use case, right? The long tail use cases, that's where we're focused on right now, where we don't have to create specific actions for each one of those use case, but provide enough grounding, right? So the agent knows what to do, right? So that's what you can expect to see, fingers crossed, on our path towards TDX. But that's the path, right?
Just to say a little bit more about what Kush is talking about with the metadata grounding. There's been a lot of work under the hood to really, what does it take so that an agent can understand the meaning of all the metadata? And some of that metadata we provide, but a lot of that metadata you provide. And the more descriptions, and we've had descriptions forever. Does everybody fill in the descriptions? No.
Make it a required field.
Well, maybe we should, because although, people will put in what, but maybe we should, and maybe so we are creating and leaning in on how can you provide the metadata about the metadata so that the agent can then understand it. And this is happening so fast. And we felt like, well, before we really unleash all of setup, let's see if we can really nail the most important use case, which is around managing users and user permissions and understanding what users have access to, which has been it's a very confusing part of our platform. And so that's step one. But under the hood, we've been really thinking about how can we vectorize our metadata and use AI to understand the metadata and all these metadata grounding infrastructure that we're going to make available to all of you, but also most value will be with the agent. So that's kind of the plumbing we've been building. I hope, I'm pretty optimistic you're going to see a real acceleration of a reinvention of setup. And by next year, hold us accountable to that. But I'm optimistic and confident that, you'll be here again and hopefully you'll say, it's really made a big difference. Will we be done? Probably not, but I think it will be substantially further from where it is today. It's a big priority for us.
And on the subject of the first one, we've heard this integration user sort of feedback quite a bit. Let's catch up. We really need to get to the bottom of it.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, thank you. Jeremy Westerman, Product Manager for the Enterprise API team, which includes the integration user. We're actually working with the licensing team and the nonprofit cloud team on this very issue. We have to there are some changes required to the PSL licensing mechanism such that a cloud team which owns the PSLs can then make their PSLs available to the integration user at no additional cost. So the plan is, at the moment, you get 5 integration user licenses at no additional cost as part of your org edition. You would be able to get, say, 5 PSLs, which you could associate to an integration user in that same model. Okay.
Just a camera. Go for it.
3 very quick things. One, I'll just add my voice. This is the most important, best part of this conference every year. Please never stop doing it. 2 is a follow-up from a question you got last year. I believe it came in online about duplicative users. One user and multiple orgs being charged for each entrance. I was wondering if you had an update on that, because we happen to be in contract talks right now. I even shared the clip last year of you saying, yeah, one user should be one user and not be charged to be in multiple orgs. And the account team looked at me like I had 2 heads, which is kind of funny because we were talking about how many licenses I should have. And I'm wondering if you have an update on that, because we have 65 users in 2 orgs. And that's pricey for a nonprofit.
Again, pricing and packaging, it keeps coming. I don't have an update on that, but we need to solve it. I get that. We have examples where, to your point, 65 users, but they're in 2 orgs. We also have examples where people are using 1 license for many users. Mm-hmm. We've seen that too.
Fair enough.
And so we just need to simplify it all. And Steve literally led the way with the team around the digital wallet and a lot of the work we've done for consumption-based pricing. We've looked at lots of new pricing models for Agentforce and Data Cloud. Not that we need something new and fancy for this, but I think we can solve it because we have new ways of counting and calculating that we can leverage for use cases like that. But I don't have an update, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. Lastly, the community, giving back to community and investing in that. I have been a user group community leader for the last 5 years, and I wouldn't be where I'm at if it weren't for the community groups I was in before I was a community group leader. And I'm stepping down this year from being a community group leader because this is the 5th year in a row where either the budget got smaller or the rigmarole for using the budget got more challenging. And I just wanted to say that the user group leaders are volunteer cheerleaders for Salesforce. That bringing on new people, helping them pass exams and investing in the community because someone gave to us and we want to give back. So I just want to say, I get budgets are limited, but if the budget's limited, then give us some freedom. If the budget's big, then tighten down like how it could be used. But that's
right,
my
well, let's go back
one or
to
the
this.
other.
Let me publicly apologize to Leah. That was totally uncalled for. I'm so sorry. We went through a bunch of activist investors for a period of time. That was traumatic for us, and we damaged the business in many different ways. We cut things that we then were later, we rehired people that we had that layoff. We're like, oh yeah, we shouldn't have done that. We shouldn't have done this. And I think we did damage at the top of the company. Just said everybody cut, and then that's carried down. It's the bureaucracy of a big company. And that mandate didn't see what happened in some areas. I think what we did more recently, when we looked at not just the communities but also Trailhead, we were bringing multiple things together, and we brought it back up to the management team under Mark, and we looked at it again. Partly because of this feedback, partly because of Trailhead. It was multiple things. We were talking about enablement. And it's got that visibility again that really has forced us to look at it and then reassess at the top of the company. I just think we need to try not to do that again. But it's been a hard period, and we did some damage because of some unforced errors, because of op margin and rule of X, and if you know what that means from the investors, which are all important. But then when you look at the amount of money for this company, for some of the things we're talking about here, we can do this.
Well, economics is the study of decisions when resources are limited. So I get resources are limited. You can't put all the money into everything you want to. And if you can't put them into the groups, that's okay. But then just give them a lot of freedom. But don't give them little and then tell them jump through 50 hoops to use the little. That's the piece that was really painful to me, was that I don't have much and it's really hard to use.
Okay, we'll work on that.
I digress. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
And we'll be transparent. We're not going to do everything, and we just need to be more transparent. What do we have? What can we do? And we'll just tell you. And you can get angry. It's like when people get angry at Steve if he's not funding some part of the product. Well, you do decide where you allocate. Where we spend, like you said earlier. We're going to move everything to Agentforce or Data Cloud, and maybe some teams I don't like that.
But I think your point on flexibility, I hadn't heard that point before, so I really appreciate that. I think that's totally fair, and we should at least take a look at that, if not more.
And I just wanted to thank you for being a community group leader and all that you're doing. I think, it's probably, we're at a point where we need less swag and more skills and more certs. And so I think that's where we need to look at the spend and make sure that we're putting it back into education and skilling, and we'll take it back.
All right, we are basically out of time, but we're going to take one more question, okay?
All right. I'll try to make this quick, but for Experience Cloud, going through all the agentic stuff and things like that, I'm not seeing it on your graphs. I'm seeing commerce, I'm seeing other things, I'm not seeing it available for Experience. And maybe that's just an oversight, but it would be useful if we can hook that up and make it available for customers. Second thing would be, can we please get the dynamic page layouts ported over to Experience Cloud? I mean, all the features I've seen come to Experience Cloud have been more pro code, more build it yourself. And that's great if that's what you want to do. But if you're trying to be agile and make things go quickly, being able to just drag and drop the same kind of fields, have dynamic layouts and things like that would be a huge, huge time saver. And then lastly, can we please get some love for the security and sharing model in Experience Cloud, because it is, sharing sets just don't cut it. So that's my 5 cents.
So the client, Sonoma Williams, right? So you saw the Agentforce chat client there. That we're going to be looking at bringing into Experience Cloud, right? So that it's available across all of the various templates, right? So that's number one. Number two, on your number 2 question was around page layouts, right? Dynamic page layouts. That's been on our roadmap. We have to assess it. I realize that we have to work through the priorities.
Hearing it.
I hear
over and over again.
Right.
Years and years.
And then the third one was around the sharing side of things, right? Yeah. Let's catch up offline and double click into your points.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, I want to thank everyone for one more True to the Core, the 23rd as I'll call it. And I hope everyone enjoys Metallica.